Well, welcome and happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Modern Mom Mondays. Very, very special project that we are doing here to get all of us parents together, having these active conversations on topics that are most relevant, most trending, and most important to you. And today's topic, and today I have two amazing guests that are joining me. Today's topic is something I know that many of you can relate to, and that is the topic of fitness, especially given that many of us are sheltering in place, dealing with the pandemic and everything in between. How do we make things work? Well, we have today two wonderful guests for you. We have Ashley Marriott. Well, many of you know she's a very active contributor on Modern Mom, as well as Eraldo Maglara, who's also a longtime friend of mine. And also, you might also recognize him because he has his own show on television and talks about fitness and tips and really different ways to make you more fit. So, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm great. I'm so happy to be here and part of this conversation that I love the topic. Fitness and health.
Fitness and health. So Ashley, give us a little quick bio, if you don't mind, of you. And so everyone can get to know you a little bit.
Yes, I am a fitness author, and I've been in the fitness industry over 20 years, everything from personal training, teaching group fitness classes all over the world. I just love sharing movement with people, and from the very beginners to advanced, I love it all. And I have a 7-year-old daughter, so I'm completely in this with you. We are Zoom schooling starting this week, and so I understand the challenges and also hope that I can help with some suggestions.
Well, we're definitely going to take you up on that. We can definitely give some suggestion here. And Eraldo, I see it almost looks like you're standing. Are you standing with us here?
I am standing, yes.
You know, why does that not surprise me?
Because I hate to sit.
I know. And certainly tell us, okay, give us a bio. So not everybody knows you. I've had a chance to get to know you the last few years, but for those who don't know you yet, let's get an intro.
Get an intro. So I am Eraldo Maglara. I am a certified personal trainer through the NSCA. I've started my own personal training business back in 2008 with a love and a passion to help people, get a better life. Basically, that I want them to be productive. I want them to enjoy their grandchildren and have all the fun things that they've worked so hard for throughout the years. That's my goal as a personal trainer. I have also written a book, The Real Fountain of Youth, a couple of years ago. It's done really well. And I've also started my third television show, which is currently right now on WLNY in New York, in the New York market. And that's doing really well. So I'm happy and blessed in many ways.
Well, we are happy and blessed to have the two of you here because I know many of you watching are probably like me at home, juggling kids and family and work and making dinner too, Ashley. I mean, talk about like, I feel like sometimes, don't they know we're too busy for this? I mean, right, Ashley?
Yes.
I mean, and then you're talking now that we need to have like a good fitness routine. By the way, I'm really working on this. I gotta tell you, but talk to me how you manage. You've got a 7-year-old. I gotta tell you, I outnumber you because I've got 3, which I think is 300% harder. But talk to me about your routine. Talk to me about like how realistic is it to have an exercise, routine during COVID?
Well, I think it's really important that you sit down as a family and each member of the family writes down a fitness goal or an overall health goal, but get everybody involved and on board to support one another. That's what personal trainers do. We keep each other accountable, our clients accountable. You need your family right now or your network with who you're living with or who your friends are to keep you accountable. So if everyone in the family, no matter what their age is, maybe your 6-year-old wants to be able to do 10 push-ups everyone can start small with their goal. And that way, if you say, mom's in a lot better mood if in the morning, when you're on Zoom, I'm going to go and do yoga upstairs. And that's my time before I have to get on my meetings or whatever your work schedule is. That way, they're not interrupting you. They're cheering you on. And I find that my daughter now knows, hey, if you don't go for that run, Mom, you're in a really bad mood. So I want you, can you please go for that run? And it's true, it's like, I don't want to go. And I've got this little trainer going, you better go for your run. So if we're all really clear as a family, it helps all of us, because if you're keeping that secret to yourself, hey, I really feel better if I do my walk in the morning, I need a little mental 30 minutes to myself. If you're not sharing that with your partner or your kids, they're not going to help you. They're going to distract you.
Got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Eraldo. There's actually, I think we have a fan here, because we have someone says, we wanted you to debunk the hidden path to abs and a six-pack, Eraldo. Tell us the story behind this. I feel like all of us we want in on the secret.
On the secret to a six-pack.
Obviously, you have a fan here, so they must know about the six-pack that you have.
Well, it's one of those things that you're born with. That was one of the only things that I was born with, was a natural six-pack. So everything else I've had to work really hard for it. But just happened on what Ashley was saying. Obviously, my kids are not as young as yours and yours, Winnie. So I'm a little bit. They're like 25 and 21, so they have their own life already, an agenda set for themselves. So I have a little more maneuverability as far as my fitness program, and I do get cranky when I don't work out as well. So I join in your sympathy, Ashley. But yeah, I make it a goal every day, because for me, it's like a drug. It's like a drug for me almost. That's how I look at it, and my body actually tells me, Eraldo, you got to exercise. You need to exercise. And I listen to my body a lot. And when it tells me to exercise, I make the time and I do it, basically. So
Eraldo, what does your routine look like each day?
Well, I get up in the morning. I do my usual. I go to the computer. I do a lot of work on my computer, and then in the afternoon, if there is a break in there, I usually do my workout, which is about an hour, and I differ it every day. So maybe one day I'll just strictly do cardio, and then the next day I'll go do some high intensity interval training, which is what I love to do, by the way. And then I'll take a third day off, and then the fourth day I'll go on and do some ladders, agility, speed, and other things that I do. So it varies every single day, basically. So that's what's the key, is to make it challenging for yourself, so that if your body doesn't get bored over time.
Well, I think that your body's definitely not bored, but I will tell you, Eraldo, I'm like thinking a lot of parents watching right now are just getting tired just hearing all this things that you're listening right now. I mean, and those of you who are joining us on Modern Mom, I want to thank you so much. And do know that we are actually monitoring your comments as well. So we can actually see your comments on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Twitter. So and YouTube as well. So go ahead and submit questions to our guests. We would love to hear from you. This is about you. We want to make sure that you have access to true experts like my guest today. So this is a really wonderful, engaging experience. That's why it's called live streaming. So today, we have so much to talk about. So one thing that I think a lot of parents struggle with is the whole idea of where do I even start? Because I know I've talked to a lot of parents, and they feel like if I put emphasis on myself, if I start to exercise, and when I know I need to do it, but I also sometimes feel guilty that I'm taking away from valuable time with my family and my loved ones, And interesting enough, actually, I broke for lunch, went downstairs real quick to get my notes before we started today. And my kids were actually really loving Nintendo's Active Fit or something like that. Have you seen the game? Which, I mean, sometimes when it's too hot, maybe you just exercise indoors. But Eraldo, maybe you could lead on this real quickly. Do you have any tips? Because I know Ashley's got some great tips on ways that we can sort of get over the idea of feeling guilty when working out.
That's a great question. I think it's important that, the way you look at exercise, I think it makes a big difference. A lot of people feel like they have to do it as a chore every day. The way I look at it is that I know the benefits of exercise, so I know that it does my body good. So for example, when I'm playing tennis and I play against people that are much younger than me, it gives me a boost, self-confidence, to know that I can keep up with those younger kids. So I can only imagine as you get older, it's going to be more challenging for you. I mean, obviously there will come a time when it'll be some sort of a struggle, but I think I can prepare myself as much as I can ahead of time. So then maybe when I'm in my 70s, I can do things that overall people maybe in their 70s cannot do. For example, go on vacations, spend time with your grandkids. So I think it's important to understand the benefits of exercise. And I'm not just talking physically, but I'm talking mentally and spiritually as well.
I love that. I love that. You know, actually, there's a question that's coming in that says, actually, how do you keep determination and passion for training when we as humans are primarily lazy?
I love that. I think willpower is really overrated. I don't think that any of us have the willpower to stay excited about going for a run. I think what we have to focus on is the outcome, how we feel after. Because if I'm being completely honest, some of the days during this 5 months of quarantine in Los Angeles, I have absolutely not wanted to go out and run in the morning. I've been in a bad mood. I've had a lot of excuses of other things I need to do. But I know that that will be one thing I can check off on my list. And there's so many things out of my control right now that I have to go back to that center of self-care, getting that time in, whether it's yoga if you love yoga, hiking if you love hiking, weightlifting, whatever will just make you feel good. Like, I did that. I can check that one thing off the list. That will get you there. And yes, I do agree that on some days we just feel very lazy and unmotivated, and that's okay. I tell my clients, work out every day of the week, secretly knowing that they'll probably maybe get 4 or 5. But if you aim for every day, you know, you'll maybe make 4 or 5. So yeah, give yourself that little bit of wiggle room.
That's great. Actually, you know what? The financial professional will jump in here because this is sort of a common topic we deal with in the financial space. And that is, oftentimes you don't want to be the barrier or the door that keeps you from reaching that goal, right? So as much as you can, if you can automate or have it something that like puts on a timer that you have to do it and you just do it, then you just get it done and you don't overthink it. Because so many times we just got to train ourselves. Like when it comes to investing, it's a little bit easier because we can set on automation. But I think with fitness, at least what's worked for me, and you know, obviously I'm not the expert here, is basically I have it pop up on my schedule like a couple times a day. You know, I don't obviously do as much as Eraldo does, but what it does is says, okay, it's time to get up and move around. And like as she had mentioned, she loves moving around. So what I'll do is literally I'll be in the office here. I've got a pad here. I'll turn on the music and I'll just jump and move around. And for me, that works, right? I'm not like figuring how many of this I'm doing, how many reps of them. All I know is everything's moving and getting more and the heart rate's moving. So it must be a good thing. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Eraldo? Does that make sense?
It does. Listen, everybody has to find their own niche, right? Everybody has to find their own enjoyment out of exercise. If you can find that enjoyment, if you can find that passion out of exercise, it'll come to you naturally. I mean, it's a great idea that you have it on a schedule because we like to follow schedule, especially us. We're very busy every day. So it's a great technique. I always implement it with my own people when I used to train them back here in New Jersey, that you have to put it on a schedule. Once you put it on a schedule, you're more likely to follow through with it. So.
Right. And smaller, I don't know. I heard, I had a chance to speak with Jillian Michaels and she said, you know, smaller chunks work just as well as big chunks, right? Ashley, talk to me about, you know, a lot of parents are saying, I don't want to spend a lot of money to build out my home gym. You talked about running outdoors. What are other ways where you can have sort of that cool effect, but you don't need the full-on Peloton? Although if you have one, I heard they're really cool. You know, what are some tips that you have for us, you know, more careful parents that want to make sure we have enough saved for our kids' education? What should we be thinking of?
I think you can get a fantastic home gym for under $50. I mean, a set of resistance bands, and I have one right here, the door anchor. This is key. So you can actually take the resistance band, loop it through the door anchor, and this transforms, you know, a band that maybe you could only stand on to do bicep curls into a real multifunctional gym. Because imagine this is anchored to the door. Now you can do things like chest press, pulls, rows, tricep kickbacks, different ab exercises. This is a fantastic piece of equipment for about $10 to $12. I'm a big fan of the stability ball, the large ones. You can do a lot of great core exercises, a lot of good hamstring work. You can put it against the wall, do squats on it. If you have knee problems, the wall squats really are a little bit more gentle. Mm-hmm. And if you have a set of dumbbells at home, that's really all you need. Mat, dumbbells, ball, and bands. Because body weight exercises like push-ups and squats, they're really foundational. You don't need a lot of fancy equipment.
I love it. So Ashley, let me ask you this. What is your favorite exercise? Like one
I love a squat with either a medicine ball or 2 dumbbells because it's total body. You're really working your core, you're working your legs, you're working your shoulders, you're working your back, your stabilizers. It's an all-in-one move. So squats with overhead press, I love. You can transition it for a beginner with no weights all the way up to super advanced with really, really heavy weights. So that's a great total body move. About a few sets of those and you're going to be sweating.
So Ashley, what does your daughter do when you exercise? Does she hang out with you?
So my daughter is very bossy. So sometimes she complains about the playlist. So she will change the music. I'm lucky because, yes, I only have one right during this time. My friends with multiple ages, it's harder. But with my daughter, she likes to work out with me. So she likes to play the music. She likes to count for me. So it does work right now. You know, she's kind of my little assistant.
You have a good trainer at home. That's really good. So Eraldo, we definitely have some great questions for you. Actually, we have a question. If we're going to post it, do you see that, Eraldo? That's a question. We got a couple of them for you.
Yes. Would you like me to read a question?
Yes.
It says, Eraldo, do you recommend calisthenics, CrossFit, weight training? Which one's better fit for overall body training? That's a great question. Again, it depends on each individual. I like what Ashley mentioned, the use of the rope and the what we call it there, the
bands.
The bands, yes. I'm sorry, I have a senior moment. So the bands are great, and I can simulate that with a TRX system, which is the same concept. And it's a strap system that you can hang on to a door frame, and you can use your own body weight on it. So that's a great technique or a great piece of equipment that you can use. You can do squats, you can do push-ups, you can do numerous accounts of exercise you can do with it. So that's a great piece of equipment. You know, it's on myself. I like to push myself to the high intensity training because I play a lot of tennis. So it requires a quick stamina and quick recovery system just for me. So I do a lot of short intervals. I'll do like a minute of a sprint and then 15 seconds I'll rest. And then I'll go into do like a minute of a push-up. So I try to vary it, but give myself that little break so that I can recover a lot faster for playing tennis, example. So whatever sport you're interested in, whether you're swimming, again, it's a great sport that you can do. You know, I have a pool, luckily, so I try to do as many laps as I can, and it involves your whole body. But listen, I'm a big fan of boxing, and I do a lot of, you know, UFC type of training as well. So whatever is suited for you, that's my recommendation. Obviously, take it slow. Get somebody who is certified, or like a certified personal trainer, who can give you the basics and tell you exactly how to progress. Because if you progress too quickly, you're going to run into some issues. But you can hurt yourself, and that could push you back. So
absolutely. So, you know, there's been a lot of talks right now. I mean, we see this a lot right now. I've seen this a lot on Modern Mom as well, being discussed of like, what way is most effective? You've talked a lot about, working out at home with different techniques, with different gear that makes sense for you. But like we talked about earlier, there's that sort of that need for motivation. So you've seen people talk about, going online, subscribing to a monthly program where you can, virtually work out with somebody, or you also have the traditional DVDs or live streaming of, content on Netflix and one exercise. I guess my question is, do you think this is, which of these would be your favorite? Because we know a lot of parents struggle and they're like, we've tried everything and we just can't get to that consistency. I'm going to go to Eraldo for this, because I hear you've got this really great strategy that you can do with your kids. Talk to me about superheroes and animals. What are we talking about here?
Well, my son, he's 21, and sometimes he acts like a 5-year-old, but his favorite superhero is Spider-Man. So what I like to do when he was a bit younger, in order to get him into the training mode, I used to develop these exercises or routines that would involve superheroes. As a matter of fact, so I would take, for example, like this medicine ball, and I would pretend to be like Thor. So I would grab the ball on top of my head and I would slam it down as he uses his hammer. Or I would do, Captain America with the shield and do. So I think it's important that I always tell either my clients or people that ask me questions how to interact with your kids. It's very simple. Bring it down to their level, right? Talk to kids. Don't talk at kids. Have fun with it. Make it exciting, and knowing that they're going to enjoy it. They're going to look forward to it. So, and I'm lucky that, believe it or not, I have a daughter who's 25, and I do most of my training with her, believe it or not. And she is a go-getter, let me tell you. I've taught her well.
So she's your trainer now?
She's my trainer. Yeah, my daughter is my trainer. I train her. She trains me. Sometimes we train together. So whatever we feel like doing. But she loves training. She loves getting into the nitty gritty. I'm assuming that's how Ashley is as well.
That's awesome. Well, let me talk to you about Ashley. So our kids are on Zoom, like they're about to start school, and they're not as active as they used to be. Many parents have known, we used to have recess, we used to have PE. It was so cool. Kids would come back all sweaty and tired, and they would be like, but they'd be blissfully happy. Nowadays, they're in front of a computer or something electronic so much. So what are sort of your strategy? What do you find works for your daughter, and what have you recommended your friends and family to do with their kids?
This is a huge topic in my mom's circle. A lot of us are very concerned. There is no after school activities, no sports. I'm in Los Angeles, so we're starting Zoom school, and we're trying to brainstorm together how to make sure the kids stay active and aren't just in front of screens all day. Number one, modeling. I think you as a parent, if you're going to take a walk after dinner, they're going to come with you, ideally. One of my great friends is a child psychologist, and she came up with a really fun idea for the moms in my neighborhood, that we would do a scavenger hunt. So socially distancing, they would leave little things that then the next person that does the hunt would go to find. So I just love this idea, because we're sort of gamifying the outdoor hike or walk, so the kids will be excited to do it. It's really true that the more sedentary our kids are, just in the last 5 months, a lot of people have noticed that their kids have gained weight, and they're concerned about the activity levels dropping. So as much as we can, get them up moving in between Zoom lessons. So if they have a Zoom in the morning for 1 hour, okay, now let's turn on some music. Now let's play a game outside, so that you're creating that change of environment or stimulus that gets them up, so they just don't go from Zoom to a video game to screen time.
Right. Agree. I do find that to be the case, right? If we could only mimic school, because school used to have a couple, like an hour or two, and then they would break for recess. There would be like a consistency of in and out time where they're moving. So it is a struggle. And I think a lot of parents are already struggling with work and then juggling their Zoom schedule for their kids. I'm hearing about parents creating these pods for their children, like these learning pods. Eraldo, what are your thoughts? Your kids are older, but certainly these the times that we're in are so unprecedented, so different. Like literally kids are going to be starting school in a week or two if they haven't already. I know other parts of the country, they've already started school, and the kids are literally sitting in front of the computers for hours now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely with Ashley. You have to be able to remove your kids from the screen. Obviously, staring at something, a computer for hours, it's not good. Not only good, physically, but it's also not good emotionally to a certain point. So it's important to schedule again an exercise program. Get them out, get them outdoors. Right now is the summertime, so there's plenty of things you can do. You can take them to a park. You can take them in your backyard. You can do fun things, events with them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be training with the weights or whatnot, but you can go for a hike. You can go for maybe just a walk in the park. You can just go for whatever, just to get them out in the fresh air and enjoy it. But the pandemic has definitely put a twist, which I don't think none of us have predicted to be.
Right. And Eraldo, I know you have a thoughts on building our core for our kids, right? Can you talk a little bit about that, the importance of that?
Well, of course. I mean, the core is always essential for you maintaining a good posture. I go to a chiropractor. I've been going to a chiropractor for several years, and the very important thing they say to you is to have a good, strong core. So that will make sure that you keep your back nice and straight, and that everything is aligned properly, so that you should feel a lot better moving forward. I completely agree. Doing exercise. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily just focus on the core. An overall body exercise routine is ideal, but having a strong core, definitely. It's a benefit in so many levels. And so I completely agree.
Thank you. Well, Ashley, when you're sort of talking to other parents, right? I love the idea of that scavenger hunt. That was so smart. When your daughter, what exercise does she love most? Because I think a lot of parents watching might get some inspiration on what you do with your daughter.
Right now, she's obsessed with beating me in a plank challenge. And I have to say, she's really strong, so she might win. She really loves kind of, I don't know if I would call it gymnastics, but it's gymnastics-like movements. So rolling over, cartwheels, which is great because the more they just explore movement, especially at the younger ages, when I'm talking in between about 3 to 8, you just want them exploring movement, trying to work on coordination. So catching the ball, hitting the ball, fun drills like that. As they get older, I've trained, I used to teach kids dance, and I noticed that right around, between 8 and 12, they are just really loving to have, accomplish challenges. So working on the splits, working on flexibility, working on strength, they're very goal oriented, and it's a great time to say, hey, what are you interested in? Let's pull up a YouTube video. You want to do a back walkover? Let's figure out how to do this. So letting them guide you for what they're interested in. And of course, as much as you can, if you can get a little pod together and practice soccer drills and safely distance, that's so important because it's also social. And I know for me and a lot of my mom friends and dad friends at this age, we're concerned about the social aspect as well as the physical.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here because I had something that we did with our kids. And, my kids range from age 6 to my oldest is 11. And something that we've been doing is, we travel a lot. Well, I used to travel a lot for work until the pandemic hit. And during that time, my kids, they love to travel as well. We were literally traveling all the time. And we noticed that, we didn't really ever have enough time to sit down and really spend some time learning how to ride their bikes. And literally within 2 weeks, we started riding their bikes, and they got so good at it. And now actually a lot of times on the weekends, we'll go to empty commercial parking lots, and I'll bring these like little orange cones to cone off the parking lot, and literally they will do racing around these parking lots. And I don't know if it's a little boy thing, but they just love the speed and they love to see how fast they go and everything else. And I agree with you. I think it's just sort of getting out there, making the effort to be with your children, encouraging them to, and they look forward to it. I wish, Eraldo, I had a pool like you, because I think my kids miss swimming more than anything. Actually, I don't know about you, but my kids every day are like, oh, if only we had a pool.
Yes, it's hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got some great questions I definitely want to share with you. We had asked you had a question of do you recommend complementing yoga, Wim Hof method in your daily routine? What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I love this question. I am obsessed with Wim Hof method. I am very bad at it because I don't know if some of the viewers might not know what Wim Hof. He is an amazing man that has, they've done research on him because his immune system is so strong because he does this cold immersion training and breath method. So his philosophy is that breath is the key to unlocking really great health and immunity. And it's very strong breath work. You do, this certain in and out breathing for a minute and hold your breath. And if you want to experience sort of a little bit of a high type feeling, his breathing method is really intense. I recommend any type of breathing, Wim Hof or yoga, pranayama breathing for our stress, because all of us have an incredible amount of stress going on right now. So whatever you can do to just bring it in and center and breathe and calm yourself. There's free apps. Wim Hof even has a free one. 5 minutes out of your day and you come out of it feeling completely different. You've restored yourself. Your parasympathetic nervous system is on. You're just able to take on the challenges. So absolutely recommend breath work, not only for physical health, but your mental health.
I love that you mentioned mental health, Eraldo. I think that's been a thing that many of us been talking about, the importance of monitoring that and making sure that we're sensitive to that. So many people are struggling right now. And I think we would agree that this breathing exercise is definitely very doable, right? How big of a role does that play in your mind, Eraldo, when you talk about, I know you talk a lot about making sure that, exercise is such an important part of mental health. What about breathing for you?
Well, I completely agree with what Ashley just pointed out, obviously. And, the way that there's a lot of stress in your daily activity. Now, I've always said that a little stress is fine, but too much stress will kill you. So, and that's been an ongoing, research and data has shown that too much stress is definitely not good for you. One of the methods that I use quite frequently is a massage. I love to get massages. It relaxes me, it relaxes my mind, it relaxes my physical, because when you do a lot of activities, your body tends to tense up quite a bit. And I found out that having a massage for me works the best out of all. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of moving parts going on in today's world. And I think that you need to be able to control it as best as you can and not let it drag you down, because that is one of the worst things you can do, and let it affect you physically and emotionally and spiritually. And when that does not recover to its original base, then you're going to start seeing some other bad things happen to you, for a lack of a better word. So it is very important that you take care of all three so that you can lead a normal life, as normal as you can in today's world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is certainly not a normal world. We would all agree, certainly very unique times, but I think you've given us a lot to think about. And certainly I think there's more to be discussing. What I would love to have the two of you share before I let you go is really talking about maybe one more tip, if you could give our viewers one tip you want to give to families or their children. Ashley, I'm sure you've got a lot, but I know you've even written a book regarding how to, treat your kids without too much sugar, right? Maybe a tip or even a app that you would recommend, or even a tool that we should consider, or even a video or something that you think would help jumpstart a lot of parents who are watching and thinking, I don't even know where to start. Maybe give me something super easy that I can start right away.
Okay. I think especially when things seem very out of control, like they do right now, to focus on what we can control. And I really would love everyone to take a minute and just think about how they could prioritize their sleep. I know that sounds like a strange one, but it's really the key to your immunity, your mood, your cognition, your health, and your children. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but during the lockdown or the stay at home and the Zoom, all of our sleep has been really off. So what our normal kids sleep and bedtime routine, maybe we've kind of gotten out of the norm. And if you could maybe with your kids discuss and say, hey, we're going back to school, even if it is online school, sleep's so important, and explain to them that them getting quality sleep, so that would be the same time every night, a good sleep hygiene. So going to sleep in a nice dark room. I know some kids need some light, but as adults, we definitely need darkness. Not going to sleep with an iPhone or an iPad or a game or a TV. You want to eliminate the blue light so that you really can unwind and heal. Sleep is all about regeneration. And if we're not getting good sleep, it doesn't matter how much you exercise, you're going to feel terrible. So focus on, as a family, prioritizing sleep.
Well, that's a great tip, Ashley. I actually spent some time with Ariana Huffington, and she did a whole study, and she's written an incredible book on really the power of sleep and the importance of sleep for all of us, including those of you who are parents, mothers, and fathers juggling the whole universe on your shoulders. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's certainly something we can start off right away. I do know Ariana, she actually gave me a pillow. You'll love this. Is this pillow which encourages you to keep your electronics away from sleeping. I mean, those are great little reminders. And one of my friends said, you know what you need to do is if you have to keep your phone next to you, put it on airplane mode. I don't know if that helps, but that was one of her suggestions. All right, Eraldo, we know you've got some great tips. So share with us one, if you don't mind.
Of course. I think being able to, like Ashley put out, to spend some time with your kids as much as you possibly can, trying to understand what their concerns are, trying to understand how what they view the world as right now. With so many changing parts, I think it's the kids look up for somebody. They're looking for that authority figure that they can rely on. So having a mother and a father and be there and talk to them and walk them through the steps of life. I think that's what kids are really interested in, because they are a product of who you are, your kids. And the more time you spend with them and the more you can teach them about how to use common sense and be respectful of others and how to appreciate people for what they are, no matter who they are or what they do, but just being able to accept everybody as created by God equally and deserving of everything. So that is the important thing. So if you have a good open communication with your kids, they're going to live a healthy life. They're going to have enjoyment throughout their whole life. And hopefully they can serve also their community as much as they can.
I love this. And did you notice that both of our fitness experts today gave us tips which were not fitness related, but certainly great for our body, minds, and soul. So with that, I sincerely thank you. And to all my friends and family at Modern Mom, we thank you too for tuning in and watching and supporting this show, because we're very excited about having these conversations from experts, from people just like you who bring us together and give us knowledge to make us better each and every day. So with a sincere thank you, Ashley, Eraldo, thank you so much for making the time, sharing with us such great information. But really, this is about you. We also want to say thank you to you. So how can we follow you, Ashley? How can we learn more and continue on the journey with you?
You can reach out on Instagram, Ashley Marriott LA, 2 R's, 2 T's. Also my website, ashleymarriott.com. And I just came out with a mask made for runners and active people. So that is the Move It mask. So you can see me there too.
Very, very cool. I think that's so helpful, Ashley.
Yes, it has little ear loops so that when you're running, you can put it on and then take it off.
That's brilliant, because we know, we gotta be careful and think of others even when we're exercising, right, Ashley? I love that. All right, Eraldo, I know you're everywhere, so let's also where do we follow you?
Absolutely. You can check me out on Lifestyle Today Show, which is my website to tell me about me and my co-host in the show. I'm be coming out with a new website, my own personal website, very shortly. It'll be at eraldomaglara.com. And obviously Instagram and Twitter at Eraldo Maglara. So all those, Facebook, check me out. I'm everywhere.
I'm loving the website. I'm seeing the website right now, Eraldo. It looks like we can click it and there'll be a video
Yes.
picture. For
There's
those
me.
of you who are joining, definitely follow both Ashley and Eraldo, two really, really great resources. And you can see just some wonderful people helping us, giving us advice on how we can better ourselves as well as our family. So thank you so much for the time. We sincerely hope that you'll join us back another time and bring us even more tips and hopefully get us excited and motivated to take that first step. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go outside thanks to two of you.
I'm roaring right now. Thank you, Winnie.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Take